All right, join me now. This is a not nearly as good a story, or maybe it's even worse story. Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy. Governor, welcome back to the show. You were here on set. We talked about Willow, the Willow Reservoir, as drilling. Now, they're giving Willow, I guess, 3 platforms, which is okay for ConocoPhillips. That's what you told me. That's what Dan Sullivan told us. But they're basically taking almost everything else in Alaska or around Alaska off the table for development. Everything that I can read. I mean, like 16 million acres of the National Petroleum Reserve. The entire section of the Arctic Ocean owned by the federal government is blocked from any fossil fuel production. There hasn't been an offshore lease since 2007. Blah, blah, blah. So how do you read this? You got Willow, but you lost everything else.
Yeah, you win Willow, which was a no-brainer, and in exchange, like you said, Larry, basically the future shut down. It's interesting because Willow, once again, is only 500 acres of this 16 million acres of this petroleum reserve. And again, Larry, it's a petroleum reserve, not a park, not a monument, not a refuge. It was designated for that very purpose, for oil, which is what we're trying to do. But yes, you're right. Offshore is going to be closed down. 16 million acres will be taken off the table. Quite frankly, we don't know where the authority to do that comes from, just like we knew that in Myanmar, in the bill that was passed in 2017, they didn't have the authority to limit the activity up in Myanmar as well. So this is just this administration's this is like the gift that just keeps on giving. I mean, we did win Willow, the 3 platforms. It will allow this project to go forward, produce about 180,000 barrels here in a few years. But in the end, the question is, what's the future of oil production here in the United States, especially in Alaska?
Governor, can you get your attorney general, maybe other states, and sue the federal government? Because that, this is like, you mentioned this. Where do they get the authority to do this? This is a 100-year play. This is a 200-year play. This is basically saying, God-given resources can never be used again. Who does Joe Biden think he is? Why don't you all sue him, take him to court, and stop this?
We have multiple suits against this administration, Larry, and I got a bad feeling they're just going to keep piling up because, as you said, and we see all the time, these are illegal actions. These actions are not rooted in a process or a specific authority, but they're being governed by outside interests, your NGOs, your extreme environmentalists. And so we will fight it. We'll fight it every inch of the way. And,
last Thursday, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and Steve Scalise unveiled H.R. 1, which is a super across-the-board permitting bill, an excellent permitting bill that would help you enormously, would help everybody enormously. Now, if they pass that in the House, I mean, that might give you some leverage. Maybe, I don't know, more and more states will bring lawsuits, or people will just make a hullabaloo. Biden just can't wave a pen and say, no more fossil fuel exploration. That's kind of what he's trying to do.
Yeah, no, it's a form of dictatorship being foisted on the backs of Americans in the states. We spoke last week about how we feel we're being sanctioned more here in Alaska than they're sanctioning Venezuela or Saudi Arabia or Iran. And so we don't understand what this war is on our own people and this social engineering program that they're experimenting with us, on us. But in the end, I don't think it bodes well for anything or anyone. And, the irony is, once again, these folks have no problem flying around in jets, driving SUVs and staying in hotels that are produced, with high carbon inputs such as steel and concrete. But that's their issue they have to reconcile. But here in Alaska, we're happy about Willow. But the future is looking pretty grim if this administration keeps doing what it's doing.
All right, Governor Mike Dunleavy of Alaska, thank you, sir. We appreciate it very, very much.